Hey guys, Michelle here with Next Chapter Counseling. I got a question from someone this week who is preparing to go to couples counseling with their partner, and they asked me, what can I expect when we go to couples therapy together? So I want to start off by saying, I guess congratulations doesn't feel like the right word, but like it's great that you and your partner are taking this step to go into therapy together. There are plenty of couples who don't ever get to the point of seeking out therapy, even when they could really benefit from it. So, for lack of a better way to put it, like, congratulations and great job, like, that you guys are doing this. And it's also great that you're asking this question, especially if you have never been to even an individual therapist together. Therapy can feel kind of like this big unknown what's going to happen kind of thing. And couples therapy is very different from individual therapy. So even if you have been in individual therapy before, there are going to be some key differences in couples therapy that may surprise you. So today with this video, I'm just going to go over some of the key things that you can likely expect from working in couples therapy together. Each therapist is different. There are therapists that practice from lots of different, we call it modalities in the psychology world, meaning they might use a wide variety of different techniques to help you depending on who you go see. So this can vary, but kind of what I'm going to talk about today is pretty general rules of thumb that apply across the world of couples therapy that you can likely expect when you go with your partner. So, the first thing that you can expect is that you will have a therapist who will not take sides. This is something that people can really worry about when they go into couples therapy. They think to themselves, what if the therapist just agrees with my partner all the time and doesn't see my point of view? And really, if you get a good therapist, which I really hope you do, and there's plenty of good ones out there, far more than there are bad ones. So if you get a good couples therapist, they will be helping each of you to understand the other person's point of view. They're not going to just sit there and say so-and-so's right and you're wrong. That's not going to be effective in helping you guys gain a better understanding of the other. So there will be times where they probably kind of empathize with each of you and express what both of you are thinking and feeling. So they're showing you that they understand both of you, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is not meant to be a sides kind of situation. Couples therapists really view it as they are treating the relationship and helping the relationship between the two of you to repair rather than treating or helping two individual clients. They're focused on repairing that bond between the two of you. And so in order to do that, they're going to do their best to understand what both of you are thinking and feeling and help you understand that with each other. Along with this, even though it is couples therapy, one thing that may happen that's pretty common is the couples therapist may ask to meet with each of you individually for a session or two, just so they can see how you are in the room without your partner present. They may also take one session and kind of split it down the middle, do half of the time with you while your partner's in the waiting room and then vice versa. That can also be pretty common, but the intention of this is not for them to determine who's right and who's wrong. Like I said, it's just so that they get to know each of you better as individuals, but their goal is to find, again, like what went wrong in the bond between the two of you and to repair that, not determine who's right or wrong. So that's the first thing that you can expect. The other thing that, happens in couples therapy is that they're going to encourage the two of you to talk to each other when you're in the room. This is where it's different from individual therapy. In individual therapy, it's just you and the therapist. So the two of you are engaged in a conversation. A good couples therapist is going to encourage you and your partner to be engaged in conversation with one another in therapy. There may be times where they interrupt or give suggestions or kind of mediate if things are getting out of hand or one of you is getting really triggered. But really, they should hopefully be encouraging you to turn to and talk to one another about what's going on. So that's something that will also hopefully be happening in your couples therapy sessions. Sometimes it might take a little while to get there because the therapist is trying to assess what's happening. But as time goes on, it'll be less interaction with the therapist and more of the therapist kind of sitting back and letting you two interact and resolve things with each other as you get better at communicating. So that's something that will also hopefully happen for you within couples therapy, as a therapist who encourages you to talk to one another rather than to talk to them about what's going on. And the final thing that I want to say that's common in individual therapy, but more common in couples therapy, is that your therapist will likely assign you guys homework. The goal is for the therapist to be able to help you guys learn new ways to communicate, gain new understanding of the other person. And the best way to do this is to have you guys practice it outside of session when the therapist isn't there. Like any kind of therapy, if you only show up for, let's say, 50 minutes once a week, which is what's most common, there's a whole lot of other hours throughout that week where you're on your own. And if you're not actively thinking about or using what you learned in session, then therapy is going to be slow going. So with couples therapy, it's very common to have homework assignments that the therapist is going to give each of you something to work on. You go out, you do that during the week, you come back the next week and, tell the therapist what worked, what didn't work, and then you guys can adjust from there. So be prepared for that as well, that you'll likely get some homework, and it's really important that you do everything in your power to practice that homework. That's what's going to make therapy really stick, and that's what's going to help your relationship get better. So hopefully this gives you some idea of what you can expect moving forward. Again, good job for taking this step, because it's not an easy step to take, but it will hopefully be well worth it, and it will improve your relationship in the long run. All right, if you guys have a question for me, send it in an email, nextchapter.michelle@gmail.com, and I'll be back soon to answer it. All right, thanks.